Hey, how's it going? My name is jackiefishhh and welcome to this legendary battle for the early days of Minas Tirith. Today we have Uruk-hai and Easterlings going up against the forces of Gondor and Dol Amroth, and this should be an amazing battle. I've been wanting to do this one for quite a while now, and today me and my Discord have got together to recreate the Siege of Minas Tirith as best as we can. At the moment we only have the early days of Minas Tirith, which is what it says on the tin. You know, this is an earlier portrayal of Minas Tirith before it did become as grand as we know and love it from the books and the movies. So as you can see, there is just one outer wall, and as we go back, it's kind of mountain carvings for cities and stuff. However, it's not as glorious as we do know and love from the movie itself. However, I do know for a fact that they are working on a proper Minas Tirith with custom buildings, so all of these buildings will look Gondorian with the custom architecture. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and unfortunately we don't have orcs or anything like that, or Rohan turning up, because they aren't just in the mod, but we kind of tried to supplement that as best as we can in this huge battle, as we do have 17,000 soldiers, almost 11,000 attackers and 7,000 defenders, so it should just be insane. I can't wait to see how this one unfolds. As I said, the Uruk-hai are going to be making up the majority of the attacking force of this heavy infantry, and there is also some pretty elite Easterlings as well, and I think we also have some Harads sitting around somewhere, so the men of the East are also represented in this battle. And we also do, obviously, as I said, have like the Rohirrim-esque forces with the cavalry of Dol Amroth, which are going to be coming in later on into the battle to try and relieve the city. Not quite 10,000 horses, but, you know, it's still pretty good nonetheless. We then have, in the city defending men of Gondor. I believe these are Dol Amroth, coastal garrisons, so nothing too crazy. Some Pellagar Marines coming back to the inner city to defend it. We have some Gondor militia swords, and as we go further and further back, we have more of the traditional units of Gondor right here. I mean, these guys always looking very beautiful. And I believe the walls are scattered with archers and infantry alike, so we should have plenty of heavy infantry battles going off here. But yeah, I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and tell the Discord to go, and let's get this battle underway. The siege towers will be pushing up, along with the artillery raining down fire and destruction on the enemies, and there we go. We see the siege towers making their way forward. I imagine this artillery, or the artillery for the trebuchets are shooting out as well, immediately going for the pikemen. That's not a bad decision right there. Taking out these Uruk-hai pikemen is a very smart decision. Are we going to be seeing retaliation by the artillery for the forces of evil coming in, burning the city, burn it down, leave nothing in your wake. God, this is going to be an epic battle, I can already tell, as the artillery rounds come flying in. The trebuchets going back though. I'm surprised they're not trying to take out any of the siege towers. Again, another hit coming in, burning quite a few of the Easterlings. Oh, and some of the missiles right there. These trebuchets are definitely finding their mark, but the artillery going back and forth for both sides is pretty insane. We've even got some rogue archers up here making their way through Pelennor fields to get into range. And they're going to be sending out a volley or two, some fire arrows going off, trying just to hammer down the defenders. Take cover, boys! Oh my god, that looks so epic. I've actually seen one of the modders on the Rise of Mordor Discord manage to change the unit scale of the units to something crazy, and he managed to get 500,000 attacking units into the battle itself, which is just absolutely insane. Obviously, it didn't run at all. It crashed, like, immediately, but he managed to get it into the game, which is pretty cool. The artillery here smashing down some of the walls. The trebuchets need to be let loose. Artillery going over, burning the city, destroying so many men. The artillery, though, flying back, hitting some of the defenders. Yeah, these trebuchets are definitely finding their mark. However, as soon as the infantry does make their way up to the walls, that's going to be a very telling part. We've even got some of the archers as well volleying down. I can't wait until all the trebuchets get to the actual wall itself, and that's when the real fight, all the siege towers get to the walls themselves. That's when the real fighting will begin. The arrow fire is coming out. The walls have gone down some. Oh, there has actually been a breach point right here. This is going to be great for the attackers to run forward and try and make their way up. It's smart for them to try and destroy these positions so that there's just more places. Now, obviously, in the books and stuff, it'd be almost impossible to break down some of these walls. Oh my god, another tower going down as well. The artillery is just running forward. It's a shame that none of these buildings can be set on fire, because I think that would be really, really cool if they could. Oh no, the trebuchet being set ablaze right there. That is not good at all. Shoot patrols! Shoot patrols! The trebuchet goes down! I mean, to be fair, it's not like it's going to be needed now because of the fact that the ladders are almost at the walls. But where is Gandalf when you need him to tell him to shoot patrols? The siege towers are almost up there. The battering ram is getting closer. And I really hope when they do make the proper Minas Tirith map, that they make the gate itself, you know, really hard to take. Because the gate, you know, oh my god, them half-orcs axes are getting slaughtered pushing up this battering ram. Yeah, I hope they make the gate of Gondor, you know, impenetrable almost. Because it took a pretty hefty battering ram to take it down in the first place. It was obviously oh my god, the siege towers are here as now the half-orc axes are going to pour in. Yeah, it was a battering ram blessed by the fire of Sauron himself, which spent all day smashing down the gate to actually break it down. Like, it was an impenetrable gate. And here we go. Minas Tirith is fully under siege as we speak. We have many of the siege towers up there. I mean, just look at the infantry. They're climbing up as best they can. Just getting ready to overwhelm the defenders. The orcs are cheering, and the first orcs to set their foot inside the White City has now begun. The men of Dol Amroth must hold firm on these walls and push them back to whence they came. The walls are truly attacked right now. Oh my god. This is epic seeing the artillery going over. The walls are smashed down. The gate has also gone down at the cost of this entire half-orcs axeman unit. But my god, how brutal was that? The city is in ruins already. Do we have a thing right now? Only 1% of the city has been destroyed, which is surprising considering how much of bombardment has gone down. It looks like the walls are very much already being taken as the forces over here are scattered, defenseless right now. More of the walls being destroyed, opening up a huge breach point by the gate itself. The forces of evil can just charge in now. The main wall fighting is over on this left-hand side as they are trying their hardest to break this down and go through. I mean, the half-orc axes are very strong when it comes to armor piercing. So even up against some of the strongest units in the game, they're going to do great. I love the fact we can see the Uruk-hai moving up over there on the right-hand side. Archer fire still coming in as well from the evil forces. Plenty of soldiers. This is a heavy fight for the walls over on this left-hand side. Dol Amroth holding their ground as best as they can, sending back these half-orc axes. But at what cost? Oh, so much blood and gore going off. And the forces of evil, there's so many of them left remaining as the artillery is just continuing to smash the walls and also the buildings. They want to raise this city to the ground. We do have some of the militia making their way up as well to kind of put up a bit more of a defensive force. And I imagine we can see these guys making their way across as well. You know, these soldiers who are scattered throughout the city itself can make their way out. There is actually a small defensive town position right here. Some Gondorian soldiers. I'm sure they'll be making their way over. And we have to make sure we keep an eye on the riders of Rohan. I mean, one day, I really, really hope we get a fully sized battle for Minas Tirith with, you know, literally the numbers that were at Minas Tirith. Like, imagine how crazy that would be. Absolutely insane. One day, I'm sure the computers will be good enough to run that. Because, I mean, if we look at just look at that as well. The city is truly under attack. Because, I mean, if you take a look at stuff now, you know, the Warhammer Laboratory mode on probably most top-end computers can run a good amount of soldiers. I think I managed to get up to 70,000 with my really good setup. So, you know, in 10 years' time, who knows what type of battles we'll be having. And hopefully in 10 years' time, Rise of Mordor will be fully finished. As it has taken them a while, but obviously you can't rush perfection, and that is definitely what they are going through. The Uruk-hai are mashing through the infantry. The gate itself looks like it's going well. Well, this is not looking good for the forces of good right now. They're definitely struggling with the breach points going off. The Uruk-hai are just pouring through the breaches everywhere and just hammering the defenders. Luckily, the defenders themselves have a lot of their more elite units further up the fortress itself. Archers going out as well, as artillery just comes flying into the city. The Gondorians fight for their life. So that's a really nice volley there by these archers who have formed a great position right there, just looking down on all of this. And they can hammer away at the walls. I mean, these walls have been given up very lightly. I imagine these guys didn't get the message to go back to your posts and hold your line. They obviously heard Denethor screaming, "Flee for your lives!" Minas Tirith literally in a mess. More and more infantry just simply pouring up. I mean, look at that. The ranks of evil just pushing forward. No mercy, no quarter. They will harass the enemy with everything they've got. And if we take a look at the balance of power, we can see that the forces of Uruk-hai have lost, or the forces of evil, I should say, have only lost 700 men, whereas the defenders have lost a bunch more. Also, to mention it as well, the performance for this battle isn't too bad, considering how many men we have. The performance is actually really, really good. More of the Gondorian city going down, and in the actual, in the actual Minas Tirith they're making as well for Rise of Mordor. I expect to see, a lot more population in the city as well, with just buildings and stuff. So literal fires can be spread. But I definitely like the spacing of this. I hope Minas Tirith, the proper one they're making, has this much space for a battlefield to go down on, and it's not just choke points after choke points. I want to have quite a big courtyard where we can have 5,000 soldiers all fight it out. That'd be truly epic. Does look like though the Uruk-hai forces have managed to smash this left-hand side. They formed up a nice little defense over on the right-hand side, which they're going to be trying to hold off. And on the walls as well, they've done a pretty good job at pushing these guys back, but just unfortunately not good enough. The Riders of Rohan, which is what I'm going to call them, are going to have to come in here and try and break them as best as they can, because evil is just ruining this day, which I'm surprised at, honestly. I thought the defenders would be doing much better right now, with the amount of archers they have, and obviously the defense of the city and the quality of Doranroth. Doranroth are a very experienced and leveled up faction. They can inflict a lot of damage if they need to. So I'm surprised the Uruk-hai are putting up this much of a good fight against them. But again, I think it's heavily down to the weaker units being positioned down here. And then, for example, we have a very nice Gondorian shield wall just waiting for the Uruk-hai to come flying against it, which is exactly what they are doing. Drips and drabs right now as they come off the wall. As the street fighting does also commence. I mean, this is just horrific as the Uruk-hai just run through the city and prepare their position for the assaults up here. We do have the Doranroth halberdiers though, and this is going to be a very, very sturdy line. We need to be careful here not to overcommit, because these Uruk-hai could simply just make their way forward. If they do clash in there, they should be very effective at taking these guys down. If anything though, they need to pull back these halberdiers and just keep this sturdy line instead of overcommitting, because right now they could be enveloped. I think that's exactly what is going to happen. They're going to fall back. The archers are going to be working overtime now as they volley down the city itself. Yeah, it'd be really cool right now if these buildings were on fire. Obviously, a lot of Minas Tirith was made out of stone. It was carved into the mountain after all. But it'd still be very, very cool. You can even see the Riders of Rohan not helping anyone. They're just sitting there as Isengard do flood into the city. The outer layer looks pretty much lost, and so much infantry just waiting for their time. Oh, there are still some archers up here. This is amazing. You know why this is amazing? Because in the movie, you see at the gatehouse, after they storm through the first layer, you actually still have the archers shooting away at the Uruk-hai. And they killed a ton of the Uruk-hai. Or I guess the orcs even, I should say, obviously in the movie. They killed so many of them. If you guys watch the extended edition, and if you haven't watched the extended edition of The Return of the King, what are you doing with your life? You see them when they have the initial battering ram, just a normal battering ram, which couldn't break the gates. There are literal mountains, like battle of the bastard mountains of dead orcs at the gate from the archers at the gatehouse, just taking them and apart. Basically, it is brutal, so goddamn brutal. Uruk-hai trying their best to break through, and I think they will. They honestly do have the superior skill, the better armor. But it's not like these Marines are... No, these aren't even Marines. Who are these? These are Ringlow Valemen, so more men from the Empire have come to Minas Tirith for the defense. Because I think you guys were telling me in a battle where I asked, a lot of regions did send men. got these Gondorian infantry having to pull back though. And to see the Uruk-hai flags as well on the walls. So the Uruk-hai just pouring into the city. I mean, look at that, just marching, almost victorious. Into position. This is a true battle. More arrow fire coming in as well. The half-orc axes are about to actually surround the men of Gondor right here. Hold firm, brave men of Gondor. They're getting cut to pieces right now. Ferocious forces. Rohan have betrayed us. What can men do against such reckless hate? The men of Gondor will reform. They are fighting for their lives in this battle. Also, quick question to anyone who knows. What was Denethor exactly hoping Rohan was going to achieve if they turned up early, right? Because, you know, they turn up very, very late to the battle itself. You know, the battle has been raging on for a couple of days now, when at least in the movie. And then Denethor was like, Rohan have betrayed us. Theoden, you know, is no ally of mine. Flee for your lives, abandon your posts. But realistically, the extra 10,000 riders of Rohan, if they were to get inside the city, would be nowhere near as effective. Like, was he expecting the riders of Rohan to mount an offensive outside in Pelennor Fields? Was that what he was trying to hope to have happen? Like, I'm interested in knowing. Like, were they going to it? Because, I mean, they could have had a battle outside of the city, I guess. Because there was actually a lot of defenders, you know, a lot of Gondorians defending the city itself. But, you know, there was a hell of a lot of attackers, you know. I think it was 500,000 or something. But, I mean, 10,000 horses all coming down is a lot of horses to try and defend the charge. So as Theoden says, not nearly, well, I think it's Aragorn who says it, not nearly enough to break the lines of Mordor. How wrong is he? As the Uruk-hai do push up, the artillery is still coming in. Look at this, just burning the city, collapsing the buildings, and also harassing the units. A direct hit right here. Oh, I actually missed it. Wow. Killing some soldiers back here? No. Just for burning grass. Oh my god, you see the city just collapse. I love that. I love that the city is just being ruined. The buildings just being destroyed. And the rest of the infantry pouring into the city. Half-orcs axes just doing so much damage. And now here we go. The lines of Gondor have clashed. The rest of the city just gets collapsed upon, man. More artillery rounds in the sky. These are some really good units, though, by Dol Amroth. These are some heavy knights. But this is truly the battle for Minas Tirith. More artillery rounds going out. I'm not sure if they're trying to hit buildings or what, because you can see a lot of the mountains are just getting burnt marks for the destruction. Over here as well, the forces of the Uruk-hai have actually gone ahead and claimed the outer layer. So they're going to take this gate, and because Attila sieges are really glitchy, they're actually going to secure this gate and be able to push forward. At least they should be able to, without having to run forward. I hope they can as well. And these men of Gondor are going to have to, you know, whatever comes through that gate, hold your ground. Which is going to be very cool once the gates do finally get smashed down. I mean, they might have to smash them down, maybe. I don't know what they're going to achieve. Maybe they're just waiting for more reinforcements before going forward. Hopefully, the gates do work, because it would really suck if they were glitchy. Oh no, the archers have been killed by the Easterlings. Oh no, their heads are getting sliced off. That sucks so much. The walls have been fully taken. The death and destruction just looks, oh, it's so beautiful right there. I mean, just looking at the manpower right now. I mean, just taking a glimpse of the outer city as well. Just see siege tower after siege tower. Oh, the men of Rohan have turned up as well. Oh, that's great. We'll quickly take a look here as they come flying through the gate itself. Hold your ground, men of Gondor. The horns, though. The horns are here. Do-do-do-do. That's the worst impression of the horns. But the men of Rohan are coming in. Theoden's speech is going off now. The cavalry is just riding to its death. Make safe the city. I've actually got goosebumps right now. It's just so awesome when the cavalry turn up. They're ready to charge into battle. the city itself is in ruins. Because you just see that in the movies when Theoden does turn up and he sees the city being overwhelmed, and he makes his peace with the Maker, and he is ready to die. If this is to be an end, then he shall make it such an end. So awesome. So goddamn awesome. I actually watched the, a little bit off topic, but I actually watched the Fellowship the other day for like the 9 millionth time. And it's crazy how well the Lord of the Rings films actually stand up, considering how old they are. I think the first film was made in 2002, maybe a little bit before that. And it's crazy that, you know, 18 years later or whatever, the films are just as good. And they're just as good as any modern day films, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'm a bit biased. Men of Gondor, though, giving no quarter. The arrow fire coming in, though, packing away the Men of Gondor who have their shields up high. Arrows deflecting off the shields. The Uruk-hai are simply just making their way through the city. So many reinforcements. And I don't know if Gondor, or I guess I'll call them Rohirrim, have the numbers to break the lines of Mordor. There's a lot of good units here. And I just don't know. And obviously there's pikemen here as well. I imagine, these pikemen are going to put their pikes down. Pikes in the front, archers in the back. Or is it the other way around? I can't even remember. The riders of Rohan are ready to smash down. I'm going to have to keep an eye on this, making sure we don't miss the epic charge. The battle inside the city, though, is raging on. They still haven't fully taken out the first layer. And I imagine in a battle as large as this, there would be pockets of resistance. You know, the forces, if they can break forward to the second layer, would have already have gone. And the pockets of resistance for Gondor simply hold their battle line. Yeah, many men are breaking in this battle, but the shield walls still are holding. How many kills is this unit on, out of interest? 106 already, but I mean, they are very depleted. They still have a few men still left remaining, and they're committing everything they have right now to this defense. They have a couple more units left remaining, and it's really when the defense over here breaks is when the Uruk-hai can really pour in their infantry. Oh, here we go, the music. Oh, it's so awesome. Make safe the city as the Rohirrim come charging. I'm just going to call them Rohirrim because it's just easier. So I imagine we'll get some pushing into the city and some going into the army. I love the way that we just have the siege towers up there. It just looks so epic. So I imagine these guys are going to make safe the city, or maybe just harass these guys. But the archers, obviously up here, you know, the archers will be taken down. No one can stop this Rohirrim charge. I imagine as well the pikemen won't put their pikes down, just because if they did, it would be like the cavalry hitting a fucking brick wall. And we want to have that impact of them smashing through the battle lines as best as we can. So are these guys going to make safe the city, or are they simply just pouring in? I mean, oh my god, how epic does that look? Yeah, they're going to just harass these spear lines. Try and take down as many of these guys as possible. Imagine they'll be doing a good job as well. And this will be great, because this is going to soften up the battle lines as the Rohirrim come flying in. Breaking the battle lines. Charging forward. Unfortunately, they don't rip through the battle lines like they do in Warhammer. But it's still very cool nonetheless. The horses smashing forward. In Warhammer, they would have carried on going. And hopefully in future Total Wars they do have better and bigger impacts. You know, a fully armoured cavalry horse should smash through these battle lines, but for balancing issues, I guess they didn't. There's still plenty more cavalry to come round though and help out. So epic as the city fight still goes on. I love battles that do, you know, have multiple points of interest at the same time. And that's why I think the Thrones of Britannia siege maps are really, really good, because they open up so many interesting positions and points of attack, as well as offering the defenders really good positions. And this map is doing exactly that. We have the fun battle over here by the gate itself, as the Uruk-hai General is actually up here, or maybe the Dragonskin General even is pushing the men forward. And then we have obviously the battle over there and the Rohan coming in, smashing against the battle lines, hammer and anvil as they do rip through their lines. If they can kill this outer force, they can really push the balance of power in their favor. You can see the armies of Isengard are losing their men quite quickly. The battle is still outnumbered 2-1 though, the defenders losing a horrific amount. However, another charge off on the archers, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes to charges. Going right through the infantry line, hitting into the side of these flanks as well as round the backs of these archers. How epic is that, man? Oh man, that is so cool. As more and more infantry come flying in. It's fucking awesome. My god damn, I love Lord of the Rings. I can't wait until this mod gets more developed and fleshed out and these maps are made and they do the architecture. I think the architecture will be so amazing because the architecture will change all the Attila buildings to look much more like Gondorian and Middle-earth buildings. So they're working on Gondor at the moment and they're getting kind of close to finishing them actually. So there'll be like, I don't know, 30 different types of buildings which will look like they do in the movies, which will just be so amazing. So then when people make these custom maps like Minas Tirith, you know, they'll actually look like Minas Tirith because they won't just be like oh, this is, you know, an eastern building, you know. It will look more like Gondorian and it'll just be so amazing. So the cavalry of Rohan are going to be pulling out and I imagine going in for another charge, but it does look like the ranks are being broken as the rest of the infantry try and make their way inside the city. Oh, we have some cavalry from Dol Amroth going inside to make safe the city itself. But the Uruk-hai are pouring forward, managing to deal with it. However, there's a nice set of shield walls right here as the arrow fire continues to come in and soften them up. I mean, still 2-1, but the defenders with that cavalry charge have definitely helped out and even things off as we do get more and more battles. I like it. I really love how they've developed their shield walls as well with two ranks deep. I think that's really cool. More Uruk-hai fly, and I'm sure these guys will be pouring into the city. As the cavalry winding up for another charge here, they're looking to encircle this and break the ranks. The orders are given. The archers are firing away though, trying to break their charges. The pikemen offering some protection out here as well. Cavalry doing so much damage. I think the infantry are going to try and make their way into the city now would not be a bad idea. How did the cavalry do, out of interest? Where did the cavalry go? Oh, the cavalry made their way over here with an epic charge in the back. And that's actually going to be routing some of the Uruk-hai. I just feel like that they won't have enough to break them, but it makes sense. These are the guys who were ordered to make safe the city. Pouring into the battle. And guys, if you got to this point in the video, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. These battles do take a little while to organize and get going and try and balance somewhat. So it'd mean a ton if you guys could drop a like on this video, you know, just like you did on my Battle of the 5 Armies video. Try and make this video do really well because it's so much fun and these battles are very special, I think. Just having this scenario, 17,000 soldiers in the Siege of Minas Tirith is just crazy cool. Battle lines just ricocheting as the hammer and anvil comes flying off once again. And if you haven't seen the Battle of the 5 Armies video I did, be sure to go check that out. We try to recreate it like the film, just like you're seeing now, and it turned out so goddamn well. And the custom map we used was perfect, and everything just went right. It was amazing. There was a point in the battle where Theoden, he's unfortunately not there, when Thorin comes charging out of the mountain, and all the dwarfs rally to their king and just charge forward at the superior orc force. It was just amazing. I can't tell you guys enough how good that battle was. So definitely go check that out. How's the fight in the courtyard going off? I think they're just trying to bring more men out, but at the moment they're getting held in place by the axemen, who are almost on a suicide mission right here to keep the Uruk-hai back as they just pour through the gate itself. Oh my god, look at them, they're cheering for human flesh. The archers though have a really nice position right here and are doing a goal for javelins even. All these javelins must be having a ton of kills. 95 kills. Wow, that's not too great. And they're about to run out of ammunition as well. However, the Uruk-hai, oh my god, look at them. This is what we needed in the courtyard, honestly. I hope in the new map you kind of get this feel of just this many Uruk-hai pouring forward into a pretty large open courtyard would be amazing. because this is just, defend, hold the line. We need Gandalf. Where is Gandalf? Urukai continuing just to put on the pressure. The men of Gondor completely surrounded as the Urukai pikes go down, throw themselves into the battle itself. Just a constant stream of Urukai as more and more of them move into the city. Has the cavalry managed to win? Or the cavalry has won! So Theoden has won on the outer field of Pelennor Fields. And now he can push his way inside the city. That is crazy. Also, let me know what you guys think of this idea, right? So my idea is to have a multi-stage battle. When the proper Minas Tirith comes out, we'll do a scenario like this. But I also want to do a set of battles, basically, where we have, say, the first day of the Battle of Minas Tirith, where it's 2 army or like 4 players in large armies, so as many men as you're watching right now, and we just fight for the first 1 or 2 layers. And then on the second episode of that series of battles, we then do the Battle of Pelennor Fields. So then everyone gets their armies again, and obviously we change them up, and then we go ahead and kind of continue on the battle. We focus on Pelennor Fields, and so then it'll be just as many units as we had in the beginning of this battle. But they'll be focused around having the Rohirrim, and they'll be focused on the fight outside of Minas Tirith itself. So that it would actually make it a lot more interesting, I think, because then we could have the scale of these huge engagements and have 80 units of horses clashing against 80 units of Urukai. And I think that would just be really epic, and kind of have it in a series of battles so that, we can still have that scale, we can have them numbers in each stage of the battle. And it's almost just like reinforcements turned up. And then after that battle for Pelennor Fields, the second battle, we could then have the final day of the battle, where we have the last remnants of Gondor, on the second and third layer of the walls, or the third and the fourth layer of the walls, and the Rohirrim pouring into the city and stuff. And we just we reset, and when we kind of organize the battle so that it's kind of like the first day's battle already happened. By just doing that preemptively before we start the battle, moving it into position, and then all of a sudden I start recording, and we're there at the third day, and all the other events have already happened. But it's a completely new battle. It's the scale is completely there, and we'd obviously have to give the defenders less soldiers if they were beaten back, etc. I don't know. I think it could be really fun. I might want to try that out with the Battle of the 5 Armies. And maybe do, the main battle once, and then have the Battle of Dale for a separate one, and then maybe the Battle for Erebor as the other, as a 3-part battle, and kind of split them up. I think that could be really fun. Really, really fun. So we're starting to get a little bit more lag now, but still, for 17,000 soldiers, this battle has run very, very smoothly. I'm really impressed. The Berserkers, though, on the front line. Sorry, I went on a massive tangent, then hopefully you guys just kind of understood what I was saying, and I wasn't just rambling on. But anyway, back to the battle. Let's keep this on to the battle now, as we watch the Urukai forces pouring forward. How's the cavalry doing? The cavalry is making safe the city as they pour in. Wow, there's a lot of them. But they're going to have to try and break these ranks. But I say that, but a lot of these Urukai are dead. I imagine, the numbers of the Urukai have been dramatically reduced. Look at how many are routing. And with the horses coming in, oh my god, could this battle be completely turned around? That is insane if it is. The cavalry charging in there. Oh my god. Smashing through the battle line. Some of them still going. That is crazy. The rest of the horses turning up now as well. I mean, the Urukai are stuck in between a rock and a hard place. If this position gets compromised, then they only have the soldiers here and this huge blob. Granted, they can still push forward, but I'm surprised we wouldn't be seeing these soldiers maybe pushing out of the fortress itself and going just to commit everything at this choke point, as the cavalry continue to pour in and just demolish the the attackers right now. Theoden is staying true to his word. He's coming in with full force as the Dragonskins are getting completely surrounded here. Wow, I love these scenario battles. They're just so much fun because you think it's going to go one way and then kind of a rule kicks in that we've set ourselves beforehand, and then it completely turns the battle on its head. Because I can definitely see the defenders winning this battle now, and for the longest time I really felt that they were going to get slaughtered. It looked like for the beginning, the first 30 minutes of this battle, the defenders looked like they were in dire need of help, and help came in the form of this cavalry. Because they're just going to straight up rout all of this infantry right here. Yeah, they've made safe the first floor, and now we need to push off. Who needs the army of the dead, right? We do have, some infantry here? They are in defensive shield wall. They know what is coming for them. They can see the cavalry, but they can't see their Uruk-hai brothers being slaughtered, thank God. For all they know, the cavalry is doing a great job. But this infantry is now breaking forward, using their sheer weight of numbers just to overwhelm the men of Gondor. Yeah, there is nothing they can do. And they can push on, and the cavalry's going to make its way up. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any missiles left. God, I don't know who's going to win this battle. I really don't, because the Uruk-hai are routing, and they've lost a lot of their pikemen, which is pretty huge. And if the cavalry can get up here, then who knows what will happen. Because, yeah, the horses have killed all of this, and they're exhausted. How's the morale? Morale isn't looking good for a large amount of these Uruk-hai either. Wow, there's only 1,000 men in it now. Every single kill that these Gondorians can get down will be so goddamn vital to the victory or defeat of both sides. Literally going to be one of the closest battles I think we've done in a long time. And if you guys want to be involved in these battles on the channel, be sure to go ahead and join the Discord. Link will be in the description down below. And you can actually join in these battles and, you know, be a part of whenever I record and stuff. I'm always looking for more people to join. It's a pretty good community as well. There's Stellaris game nights and stuff, and you know, you can even take a role and create a Stellaris game night or Total War battles and stuff. So they have seemingly taken the secondary wall of the secondary layer of the city as they do retreat back to the inner city. And I guess this is where they'll make their last stand. I wonder if you could actually get archers up here. It'd be really cool if you could get archers up here onto that gate. The cavalry's formed up, so this battle is going to go down to the wire. Only 1,000 men left in it. And the thing is as well, these soldiers are all fresh and eager to fight, whereas the Uruk-hai have been fighting every inch, every step of the way. Oh, there's even a unit of Gondorian swordsmen. Or these, Gondorian sword infantry right here, who were originally all the way over there, have managed to make their way and actually survived that onslaught. I bet you anyone in that bottom layer definitely did not think they were going to survive that battle. There's even some siege crew up here, which is kind of funny. I mean, just really looking at the destruction right here and the amount of like siege towers just lying, that's pretty insane. Honestly, the amount of the death and destruction. So are they going to be forming up? They are going to be forming up their pikes back here as they kill off the rest of the Gondorians. They're going to be making their push out here as well. And what we do have some... we actually have... we have some Fountain Guard here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a Fountain Guard want to try and push out of this layer and try and finish off the Uruk-hai. Because the thing is, the longer they leave it, the less effective this cavalry is going to be, right? And the more fresh that these units are going to get. I mean, they're walking now, so they're getting their energy back. Whereas if Gondor were just simply charge, they could have maybe broken their ranks and just affected them. Because when units get tired, they go ahead and get exhausted. The cavalry is going to charge forward, try and soften up these shield walls, maybe? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they go about trying to attack this. So only one more layer to go, because that's where the last defenders are. If the Uruk-hai can break this, then they'll be in such a good position. But it's just the cavalry they need to turn around and kill. But it's whether or not they have enough left to do it. I mean, there's no range left for the Uruk-hai, but they have to run on to Fountain Guard now, you know. So epic. Uruk-hai just marching. And I'm really, really impressed by the performance of this battle. I thought the lag was going to be much, much worse than it was. And it's been really, really clear, honestly. We've had a few sticky patches here and there as the city is just destroyed. But honestly, not that bad. Oh, was it cavalry charged in? No, it's going to be infantry taking on one thing. And I imagine the cavalry are going to try and smash through the center, which is a pretty good idea right now. Send in the cavalry. Try and smash away their ranks. A nice little shield wall going through here, like a V shape, which is exactly what's happening. Of these guys, they're fresh as well. Might be enough to smash through their front line. Well, not quite. The shield wall holds its wall. Not too amazingly, but they do still hold. And killing these units will be very, very telling of the battle, I think. More cavalry being pushed off. If they can break these, then that's going to be huge. The walls, the gates themselves are now being taken. Berserkers are up here, but I mean, how are they going to break through this? They need pikemen of their own right. The Fountain Guard holding, ready for battle. And Fountain Guard as well, looking very, very nice. Great textures on them bad boys. Oh, the fighting is ready to kind of come to its last part of the battle. And I really love this unit, the Vanguard unit right here. I think the Black Swan Knights look very nice. Very nice indeed. How's the cavalry doing? The cavalry's actually routing a little bit, as more and more of it has to get thrown into this battle, but they're not doing enough damage, I don't think, to the Uruk-hai. The Uruk-hai seem very, very strong in number, and they're more than capable of just keeping these guys at bay. I mean, let's look at some of the kills. 61 kills, almost 300, or over 300 kills on that unit, 250 kills on that. The Riders of Rohan have truly been blessed this battle. The horns going out loud and proud. Look at the death in this courtyard. That's pretty crazy. The Easterlings in their shield wall ready. I honestly think they need to commit more men to this breach, because I just don't see how they're going to do it. The soldiers charging forward. The Fountain Guard are going to be able to hold this all day. Some of them are getting killed as they do push further and further forward, but surely the Fountain Guard are just going to be able to slaughter these guys. I say that, but it does look like the Uruk-hai are breaking forward quite nicely. And there's not really any burning oil or anything, because of the fact that the Uruk-hai have taken the gate with that outside capture point, which is annoying. It'd be cool if they had to bring up a battering ram or something, but it just, Attila sieges, custom map sieges, always so temperamental to begin with. For the longest time, it was impossible to get soldiers on the walls until they found out how to do that. So, it's just very, very cool indeed. More and more infantry pouring into the city. How's the cavalry doing once again? Because these are the two main focal points of the battle, right? Here and at the gate. I mean, yeah, it looks like the Uruk-hai are winning. There's going to be some hammer and anvils coming in here trying to kill these guys. If they could just break one, maybe they could then rotate around, but I just don't think they're going to be able to. They have a couple more units still left to go into battle. But I just don't know if it's going to be enough. If they can kill this one unit, I think they will break this. But then it's having to get through the pikemen as well. And I think they're finally deciding that they need to actually bring back these pikemen over to the Fountain Guard, because without them, the Fountain Guard are just having a field day. They've lost 8 men and they've killed 90. Wow. More and more of the Uruk-hai going up. But yeah, I think they've decided that they need their own pikemen up there. The Uruk-hai are pushing them back though. That's actually really interesting as well. The Uruk-hai are making the Fountain Guard step back a little bit, and that's going to allow them to get more soldiers in. But again, it could just allow them to get more soldiers in to be killed by the Fountain Guard. But if they can get around these flanks, push them back enough, it's where they can kind of envelop the unit nicely. That's going to be brutal. There's also some Citadel Guard here as well, as they reform up. And there's not a lot left for the defenders, really. Some Doanroth units, some Citadel Guard. But besides that, there's honestly not a lot left. Cavalry still trying to do work right now. The horsemen are working their best. More cavalry come flying in. And the cavalry is going round the flanks, but they just need to break this one unit of Uruk-hai. If they can kill it, then... Well, they're going to try and pull through now because the numbers... Oh, they've done it! They've done it! That's going to open up a huge breach now. All of this cavalry just needs to break through here and then come flying into the backs whilst they still can, because if this Uruk-hai can rotate its formation, almost act as a shield for these guys, that's not going to be good in the slightest. The cavalry quickly needs to break through here, because they're losing their numbers quickly. The balance of power is shifting in favor of the evil factions once again, a bit more and more. The Fountain Guard, though, keeping the men at bay. Yeah, as you can see, their formation is starting to be broken up. Some of the Uruk-hai are making their way around the flank. This Berserker, I imagine, is going to be doing a lot of damage. And you can see the Fountain Guard are starting to drop fairly quickly, actually. And this is the worst case scenario for the men of Gondor. I honestly don't know who's going to win this battle. Both sides could really take the advantage right now. You see both Uruk-hai and Gondorian fighting for their lives. So I think it's just the fact that the Uruk-hai are literally touching their pikemen. And that's going to cause them to win. Yeah, the lines are getting pushed further and further back. And you can see that. Because the lines are getting pushed further and further back. I mean, a minute ago they were here. And that's just going to allow the Uruk-hai to flood through this gate any second now. And then it's going to be up to these shield walls and defensive formations. I mean, there's still plenty of them left, but just not enough, I don't think. The last of the cavalry has been pushed in. And because even if they break this battle line, is it going to be enough? I mean, they are hammer and anviling. A lot of these horses have now routed. And the balance of power is looking very, very good for the forces of Isengard. But as I keep on mentioning, the forces of Isengard have been defending and fighting hard. So they're tired, for example. There we have it. I mean, the Riders of Rohan have been completely killed. Balance of Power is looking very good. And as soon as this gate force goes down, it's going to be over. And literally, I think, yeah, as soon as the Uruk-hai can just flood into the city, they have so many men. They can also bring all of these guys back as well. It's not like they can just literally select all of these guys and then just bring them round and bring them up here as well. Which is exactly what they're doing. They know they've won out here. I mean, even if they lose it, there's still only going to be, what, like 6, 7 horses, 10 horses left remaining. A handful of Gondorians who have actually, you know, almost routed, have routed. Yeah, the Uruk-hai know they can take their men and push them up here. And it's just going to be a grind fest for the last, you know, the last 20 minutes of this battle. Not 20 minutes, last like 10 minutes of this battle. You know, when the Uruk-hai can really get in, which it does look like they're doing very, very effectively. Yeah, the Fountain Guard definitely, I mean, how many kills the Fountain Guard on? Oh, 200. I was going to say, they definitely lack that potency. But I mean, I feel like they're kind of fairly balanced right there. 200 kills on that unit of very heavy pike infantry. That seems kind of fine, honestly. Who was defending a breach point. They killed basically 2 to 1. I think that's fair enough. And, you know, now all the Uruk-hai need to do is just push forward this gap. That looks so cool as well, the banners. I really enjoy the banners for Rise of Mordor. Each of the units have their unique one. You see a Gondorian one? The Gondorians are more like these type of flags, which I think are really cool. Whereas the Uruk-hai are kind of a lot more sturdy. Awesome archers. Are these archers out of ammunition? It does look like they are. The last forces are simply just pushing their way into the city. Okay, so I cut a bit out whilst they were taking over last of the Fountain Guard. I just didn't think it would be very interesting to watch. However, they have now pushed on and the defenders have retreated to the inner layer. We are literally going to be going to the final position as the Uruk-hai continue to smash forward. I mean, granted, it's still going to be one hell of a fight for them to get there, but their numbers just offer them so much and they just have an endless stream, whereas the Citadel Guard and other infantry maybe just won't have that staying power. I mean, there's only 950 of them left remaining against 2,000 attackers. That is pretty insane indeed. And more infantry. I mean, these guys are going to get killed very quickly. It does just simply look like everyone is falling back, and there is no gate up here at the final layer either. So we will be getting a full-on retreat back to the inner city. And the cool thing is about the map itself is it's like it's being offered, you know, it's being worked on as we speak, right? They are slowly building up, you know, the buildings and the top layers of the fortress itself. You know, you don't have any the huge kind of mountain which spreads out. That's currently what they're building themselves, which would be really, really cool to add into the battle. But yeah, more and more Uruk-hai just pouring in, and I think, as I said, it's only a matter of time until they all do go down. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Uruk-hai will be able to push them back. We just zoom in right there. We can see them from the back point. This is what the Uruk-hai can see all the way back here. As they are fighting bravely, but is it enough? Citadel Guard holding up their shields high to protect from any missiles coming in. Not that I think there are any missiles. The screaming of battle, the blood on the walls as well. That's pretty cool, actually. I've never noticed that before. More of their Uruk-hai brothers just waiting to get through this breach point. And Berserkers will be doing a great job. It doesn't work. The defenders are doing an awesome job at holding. Yeah, look at that. More and more blood is just being splattered on the wall. As both sides lose men left, right, and centre. Yeah, they honestly need to just keep on breaking forward, and once they win the numbers, I mean, these archers are going to be killed really quickly. And then it's just these last 3 units left remaining, honestly. Not much left, but can they do it? I don't know, because the Uruk-hai are losing numbers fairly quickly as well. But it's whether or not they can just break forward through this position, because it is just going to devour into choke points right now. But I still think it's very, very interesting to watch nonetheless. Fun to watch both the Uruk-hai. I mean, any Lord of the Rings is fun to watch. And I feel like if you got to this point of battle, because probably some people have just skimmed through it and gone off, you know, it still looks very cool nonetheless. And if you made it this far, you might as well stick around and watch it. And I'll cut out a few of the boring bits if it does continue to, you know, prolong and be annoying. But this is definitely like a remnants of like a medieval 2 total battle, you know, of these choke points. Very much a back and forth. And also having the weight of numbers. The weight of numbers for the Uruk-hai, you can see they are actually pushing the men back slightly. You know, it's not as, I guess it's not as prolific, because in Medieval 2 it's a lot more like visible and it's a lot quicker. But the Uruk-hai are breaking their way into the gatehouse itself, and they are slowly but surely pushing their way in. Both sides cheering on. Yeah, they do need to get these pikemen up here, because pikemen will be able to, again, help with that frosting. Pikemen knock back infantry, so if the pikemen themselves can get in, they can knock back a lot of these units. It's just they need to make their way, they need to wade their way through all of these heavy infantry. Why are they putting on slow-mo? Don't put it on slow-mo. Keep it normal, we don't want to play it on slow-mo. For sure, we want to watch this battle continue to unfold as both sides do clash really, really heavily. I mean, we're getting a bit of lag, but it's nothing too crazy. It's a little jump here every like 10 seconds or something. Not too bad whatsoever. The numbers are starting to fall down, but there's still just so many elite infantry units right here. It's actually crazy. The men of Gondor holding firm. So it looks like the fourth layer is soon to be breached. The walls are covered in blood from the battle that has just happened. And the Uruk-hai are slowly starting to make their way forward. We have some of the archers pushing off against the pikemen. And I mean, as soon as this defense does go down, it's probably going to be all she wrote for the defenders. You can see they're coming down here to try and support it as best as they can, but at what cost can they do? I mean, they have both their generals still up with their remaining, but the evil faction just has so many Uruk-hai left remaining that I think as soon as the Citadel Guard go down and they can push on down and have kind of a bit bigger of a battle, then we'll really get into it. I mean, this battle has devolved into a lot of choke points, but it's understandable considering the way the city is designed itself. And hopefully I've cut out a few of the boring bits to keep you guys around and interested. As well as that, the Citadel Guard themselves are a very defensive unit, whereas I think now the last 4 units that the good guys have left remaining are much more aggressive, so we'll see a lot more killing and a lot more damage being done. They just need to really push their soldiers forward. We do actually have some archers coming up here, trying to go up against the pikemen. Not really even getting in. However, as we saw with the Fountain Guard, the initial charge is bad for the pikemen. However, once they manage to get through them, and you can see some of the soldiers actually getting on 1v1s with the pikemen, they can do a ton of damage to them. This is going to be a double wall of pikes though, which is not going to be too healthy. And there we have it. The rest of the infantry can just fly into the battle. I mean, they're all exhausted, and some of the morale is actually kind of low on the Uruk-hai as well. I mean, these archers must be getting slaughtered very soon. We then have some of the Black Swan defenders, which are going to be getting pushed up. And as we continue to go back, we have some Black Swan Vanguard. These units looking so awesome. I love these. Aren't actually part of Rise of Mordor. These are the Rise of Mordor submod, which uses a lot of assets kind of scattered around just to kind of create these awesome looking units and add a bit more flavour to these rosters. I think it's always been in your favour as we continue on the frontline battle. And here we go. Things seem to be speeding up a lot quicker now that we've got through that Citadel Guard unit. The archers are pretty much destroyed now, and it is up to the men of Dol Amroth to put up a last stand as best as they can. I don't think Gondor have like anything left remaining of their own. I believe this is all Dol Amroth, which still will hold. I think there's actually a general back here, but besides that, it is pretty much just Dol Amroth who still hold up. And I mean, look at that as well. It's beautiful to see as more and more infantry are being thrown into the fray to try and have a chance. We have some of the Vanguard being pushed up here, now getting lobbed into battle. The Uruk-hai have definitely proven their worth though. The ability to take out these high elite units has been unmatched. Dol Amroth charging in, the sheer amount of pikes coming through the shield walls of the Uruk-hai is very horrific. It's like Battle of the Bastard style right now. And the forces of good are down to just 600 men. They're still outnumbered 2-1. They could never really close off this deficit right here. It was always kind of, it got down to 2-1 but never got reduced anymore. I mean, the infantry's trying its best, but the Gondorians are just being killed now. You can see the Gondorian numbers dropping a lot quicker than anyone else's as they continue to push their way forward. And I believe this is like literally all they've got left remaining. A couple other units scattered around. But yeah, just for 3 units. Are we seeing one of the generals being brought up? Yeah, they're actually one of the generals. This is the Dol Amroth general. Yeah, the Dol Amroth general is even being brought up as well. Wow, it's a shame that the forces of the Uruk-hai don't have any archers left, because that'd be very, very good to break their ranks right. If they still had a couple units of archers, they could focus down these defenders. But as you can see, the defenders are getting killed much quicker than the attackers. I mean, they're still taking down soldiers with them, but it's just not enough to kill. And the Uruk-hai just have a constant stream of men just waiting for their opportunity to push in and fight this battle. Only 400 Gondorians remain on the battlefield, and there is only like 1,000 Uruk-hai left, so this battle could go still down to the wire. I mean, I wouldn't say that the good guys are definitely going to lose here, even though it doesn't look bad. Obviously, as you can see, I did cut out a large portion of that grinding, trying to leave in a few clips here and there, but it wasn't really worth you guys watching it. So I definitely think a rout could go down here where the good guys do manage to rout the evil factions, because if we look at their units, a lot of their weaker units are quite close to routing. If they could maybe kill the Uruk-hai general, then they would win the day, that is for sure, but it's whether or not they can achieve that as the numbers for the good guys is desperately going down. They did commit all of their units now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they've committed everyone they have to this one engagement. And we're going to just sit here and watch it as the two sides do clash between one another. I mean, it is a very cool battle line as both sides are hitting each other extremely hard right now, both looking to try and do that knockout blow. Yeah, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we did actually end up seeing the forces of good claiming victory here. Because one of the things that obviously lets the evil factions down is their morale. They're never normally as strong as the good guys, especially these elite units, which are somewhat fresh to the fighting as well, who can just kind of come in and clean things up at will. I mean, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. The forces of good are going to have to hit hard, strike hard, and bring them down, but they definitely could do it. As you can see, more of the Uruk-hai are starting to rout now. But I don't know, I just feel like there's far too many of these guys. But the more it rout, the more chances that the other units will rout as well. And it's kind of just like a constant cycle. The numbers surely not. I mean, how many kills have these infantrymen got? 68, 108, 23. Yeah, they're just not killing enough, I don't think, to rout the Uruk-hai. But a war cry would be devastating right now if any side did have that. I mean, Gondor are literally fighting for survival, continuing just to try and smash their way through this formation. And the Uruk-hai have definitely left a trail of bodies. Whilst this fight is going on, let's go ahead and check out what remains of the battlefield. So starting off right at the top, we can see the huge amount of bodies which fought and died over here. To going back, there was also a huge amount of Fountain Guard fighting here, taking down many an Uruk-hai with them. Then if we go down to the second layer, we can see this huge fight in the courtyard, which was just so epic to watch, honestly. As we did have that true Minas Tirith type feel. We then have the battle at the top of the hill. We have the huge cavalry engagement right around here. Not to mention all the fighting in the streets and on the wall. There are plenty of dead bodies and breaches. Battle for the gate was awesome. Battle for these walls were bloody as hell. Taking a look at that, I mean, there's a lot of dead bodies along with the trebuchet being destroyed. This engagement was just insane. If it wasn't for the cavalry turning up, then who knows what would have happened here. I mean, the bodies, you can't even see the ground. That is how many of them. They just literally block out the ground. Then if we take a look as well, the battle for Palinor Fields happened over here as well. Plenty of dead Uruk-hai. And that was really a big turning point, because without that, I think the evil guys would have won a long time ago. But with actually having the extra cavalry come in and help out, definitely really did. I mean, you kind of caused them to actually at least have a chance in this battle. I mean, at the moment, there is only 300 of them left remaining. I don't think anything crazy is going to go down. Also looking at the siege towers as well, we can see them just scattered across the wall, looking very good. But going back to the fight, once again, the Uruk-hai, I mean, the morale on the majority of their units is fine, so I think that's what will end up winning them the day here. Just having that sheer amount of extra soldiers, and the good guys just not having enough to break through here and just kill them. But you never know, we might see them actually being able to rout them. I guess only time will tell. Only one unit is left remaining for Gondor. This is going to be the general unit. Is it the general unit? Yeah, it is the Wardens of the White Tower. How fitting that they will make their last stand here. The morale is actually surprisingly good, considering that they are the only guys left facing off against a whole horde of Uruk-hai. The Urukai have definitely paid a heavy price for this victory, but it is looking very, very good for them just to simply wrap up this victory, especially now that Dol Ramos' general has been killed. And, it's only going to be a matter of time. I think the general for the units of the White Tower are still alive here. I'll try and pick him out here if I can see him, but this is all that remains. And I mean, and what a battle this was. It obviously got very grindy towards the end, especially for me, but hopefully I cut out a lot of the boring bits so that you guys didn't have to put up with just this for, a good 30-40 minutes, because I've actually been recording for an hour and 50 minutes right now at this point. So as you guys will probably see by the length of this video, it'll probably be like 40 minutes long, maybe 50, maybe closer to an hour. And all the juicy bits did happen in the beginning of the video anyway, so those of you who have made it this far, I salute you. And be sure to go ahead and drop a like and a comment on the video if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and lets me know what you guys want to see. See, this guy's agreeing right there. Did you see that? He was like, yeah, definitely do that. Lets me know that you guys want to see more content as the final purge of this Gondorian unit does come in. I mean, there's only a handful of them left. The morale is dropping. Is this it for them? They are the only ones left remaining. 64 of them still holding. They're exhausted, and the will of men may have been crushed this day. Both Rohan tried everything they got to defend them. There we have it. The battle is over. Minas Tirith has been destroyed. The city has fallen to the White Hand. And my god, that was epic. I really did enjoy that. Even the grindy bits which I had to sit through, I enjoyed as well. I'm looking forward to seeing who got the most kills, honestly. So taking a look at the first Urukai army, we can see that, yeah, the dragon skin's doing really nice. And even the Urukai as well, doing a very handsome job there. The artillery, okay. Over on Deadman's forces, you can see his berserkers doing very nice. But I'm surprised to see that none of these guys got over like 200, 300 kills, honestly. That's what I was kind of expecting. I mean, a lot of these guys doing good, but no one doing absolutely crazy. Going over to the defenders side, these archers getting 246 kills. This infantry unit getting 430. Wow, they slaughtered them. But again, no one getting anything too crazy. Oh, and the Fountain Guard 247 was pretty nice. Doamroth, again, everyone's up in the hundreds, but oh, the cavalry, oh my god. The cavalry well over 200 kills. These ones 300, 300, 200 on that one. My god, they did some damage towards the end of that. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this battle. If you did, as I said, make sure to drop a like and a comment, and I will see you guys in the next one.